Welcome back to the show. You're still watching the magazine right here on Azam One. Today on Azam One on One, we have a very special guest, and it's none other than George Kyomushula. He's a poet, he's also a writer, and the founder of Arusha Poetry Club. Welcome to the show, George. You look as if una mawazi. You're so far.
Nah, I was just...
Could you give us a piece of something at least, just to, you know?
Just that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
It's a love poem. I wrote for a guy who asking for his girlfriend, wife or something, that she would be stay apart from different circumstances that he may undergo. It's called Could You Do That? But
Could you do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But how I wrote it, how it's like recited is could ya do that?
What?
Could ya do that?
Could you do that?
Yeah.
Could you do that?
Yeah.
Great stuff. Okay.
So, yeah, for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Okay. Would you call me back when I hang up? Hold me back when I step up? Love me back when I'm fed up? Could ya do that? Could ya do that? Could you do that? Would you talk to me when I'm deaf? Pray for me before I face my death. Feed me hope when I'm stressed. Could ya do that? Could ya do that? Could you do that? Would you run for me when I'm exhausted? Count me in when I'm toasted. Brush me after I'm flossed. Would ya do that? Would ya do that? Could you do that?
Could ya do that?
Yeah, okay.
So let's have a look at this, and you tell me how you feel about this art. You know, it's some sort of art that I really can't explain. I have so many questions for you, but I'll ask you right after this.
Would you marry me? Would you marry me? Would you marry me? As I set my eyes on you, the smile of you say hello in my mind, say hi. Should I be your fellow, our hearts didn't deny? Should we fly like a sparrow, facing to be excited? Truly, we can't deny satisfaction. Within our mental, nobody should have the tears for eyes to eyes.
Would you marry me?
Me and
you
would
should come up with something else. Not would you. I'm tired of your would yous.
It's just I have so many questions.
Yeah.
And sometimes
you look like you do have a lot of questions.
Yeah, and you thinking and you don't have an answer and you put it up in poem.
Good stuff. Now, maybe could you tell me what is the difference between poetry and spoken word?
The difference is spoken words is just improvised right there on the spot. And you don't take your time to write down, you just express yourself. Like for the meantime, I can do the spoken word about how I feel about you, for instance. And I just, let it flow. But the poetry, you have time to write it down. You can use a stanza, you can use the metaphors, you can use what, it's just different on how you can project. For spoken words, it's more about oral. Poetry, you can write it down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And maybe what exactly are you trying to communicate with your art?
I'm trying to share my knowledge with the audience, with the people who love poetry. And also, I'm trying to get their knowledge from them to me when I ask you questions like, would you marry me? Would you do this? Would you do that? So people be like, okay, what do you think about that? Who is that? So they get a link, that can get the link from them and say, oh, you touched that poem. You wrote it for me. I had these and these issues. It's like you touch so many people's lives.
Wow.
And they come up with the stories, and next day you'll be writing a poem. Not about me, but about you. But I just wear myself as a character like you, and I wrote a poem about your frustration or your happiness. So it's all about connecting.
Does it help to heal?
For me, it's the therapy. Yeah. Being a poet is just a therapist, because I can have a frustration on my mind, but when I wrote it down and I recite, it's gone.
Could you give us tips on a well-written spoken word?
you have to have a strong content. Like you can come up with something like the headline, it gotta be very, very strong. Like, would you marry me? I'll say, what if I won't? So you'll be like, why you come up with that? So everybody could pay attention, like what this guy's trying to say. And also you have to get the message on that. And some people like transparent, some people like the metaphors. So you need to use both, because you need to know your audience. You need to know who like your stuff, or who will you like your stuff, and how it takes to be, the greatest poet from written poems.
You poets get so dramatic sometimes. Like, you use so much power. Like, do you really have to use so much energy? You understand what I'm saying? Is it really necessary?
Yeah, it is, because you need to people to feel you, and it's not all the people that can do that. Some people they're good on writing, but they cannot, they can, how do you, like a visual art, But you need to pull them together, because when I wrote something like, stop, please stop. I say, hey, stop, please stop.
Wow.
Boom, boom, boom.
Wow,
so
nice.
Attention for the people,
Now tell me something, maybe what do well-written poems have in common?
I think the strong message is the main thing, because if you just wrote a message that everybody will be like, wow. So that poem, it can go, the wow can go to any other person in different poems. Okay. People will be like, wow, that's good poem. People say that a lot on different poems. But what it takes to be a good poet or the greatest poem is a strong message.
What motivates your writing, George?
Back in the days when I was in school, I think I was a lonely guy, maybe. I don't know.
Would you marry me? I'm bringing you flowers, please. I'm on my knees. I want you.
There you go.
You sound so desperate on your poems.
Gotta be a character on that. But I think I wrote that poem when I was in a good mood, because I wrote that for one of the event on Leaders Lounge. My man Lufu called me like, you coming? I said, yeah.
Oh, I know Lufu.
Lufu Nyamfu,
yeah, he's good.
So that's the poem I wrote before I went to the event.
Okay.
So I had a good mood. But I wanted to have a character of a desperate person. And it worked. So back in the school, I was those kind of guy, you're alone, staying alone, thinking alone.
You're such a loner.
I was spending most of the time by myself. And I have a lot. You can watch something, you can read something, and it's just it resonates in your mind. You don't have a person to share with, on the same, mutual feelings about it. So you'd be like, okay. But when you grab
put it
the
on
book,
writing,
it's like you're talking to yourself, because when you write and who you are is two different things, because the mind say this, write this, and something like, no, and the mind
your
say,
heart is
you know what I mean? Like an inner spirit that say, inner voice say, wrote about love, and you're very angry.
Yeah.
But you say, I want to write about hate. No, the love. Because they have lines, so listen.
Then the contradiction becomes real.
There you go.
Your heart wants something else, and your mind is telling you otherwise.
But the inner voice wins. For me, it always wins, because when you say do this, if you won't do it, later on you come up with regret. Why didn't I do it? Yeah. So I always like, okay, I'm writing. And you write, and then you say, you give your chance to your mind to decide. Is it a good poem? It's good.
What do you think is the best time to write?
When you get an idea. Back in the day, I used to write in the morning. Every single morning, I write a poem. But now you're working, different, experience. So whenever I get an idea, I was just get up and go to work. In the morning, you don't have a time to. But in Sunday, I always wrote, because
Sundays.
Yeah, because I'm just in bed.
What is the best advice that you've ever gotten on how to be more creative?
Oh, to listen, read, and evaluate ideas, opinions. Listen to everybody, read everything. Just listen, and then whenever you listen to anybody, whatever they say, and you have your chance to think about what you just heard, what you just read.
Digest it.
Yeah, you
and
digest
just
it.
take it all
Say,
in.
okay, I heard about this. Is it right? Should I say
How
it?
much should I take in and how much should I, you know?
So when you have that...
In Swahili wanasema unachuja, au sio?
yeah, unachuja, yeah. So you be like resonate things, you just questions yourself, question your mind.
Yeah.
That's when the best times you can, you know.
And lastly, maybe because we're running out of time, could you just tell us what advice do you have for the person who's watching at home right now, probably an aspiring poet?
My wish and my dream is to see we have a lot more poets than musicians, than footballers, because most of the intelligent people, they're poets. I can see there's a lot of intelligent young men, young sisters, brothers and sisters in the streets that they have a great mind that they can put on writing, but they don't know how to start it. Now guys, they write poems and they just want to record for hip hop, which is good, but you need to know yourself that you got talent on writing or you got talent on rhyming, because you can write, but you cannot rhyme. So if you can write and you cannot rhyme, then you gotta be a poet. But if you can write and rhyme, you can be a rapper. Which rap is a rhythm and poetry, you know. Like, and you just spit it up on that.
Good stuff.
But without rap, there's no poetry, there's no rhythm. So without rhythm, there's a poetry. So you need to know yourself. If you want to write about anything, do you have connection with rap? Because everybody want to be a rapper, everybody want to be an MC. But you guys, you can still be the poets.
Good stuff.
Or writers.
I love poets. I love poetry.
Yeah.
I love writers.
Thank
you so much, George, for coming through. It's been a pleasure. All right. Thank you so much for being with us. We've come to the end of Azam One-on-One. We're going to go for a short break. When we come back, we're going to know what's Cracker liking.